morning, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite segment over here on my channel, Out of the Vault. If you are new, let me just say welcome. It is a pleasure to have you. And for all of you returning, thank you once again for always coming back. It feels like I really have not had the opportunity to sit in front of the camera and discuss the magic of Disney as well as Pixar, and once again, even though they are not part of Disney anymore, Studio Ghibli, and it has been a while since I've actually had to have the Superbad hat on, and it's for good reason, so yeah, good occasions all around. So, I know it's a little bit late, but, you know, we're in a 3-day weekend now, and I have just had so much going on. I've had no time to sit down and turn on the record button. I didn't even think I was going to have the time to even watch a movie. And while I knew that I had to sit down and do an Out of the Vault video for you guys, I did a last-minute switcheroo, seeing what else I still had left in all of the Disney libraries, and decided to go with the 2008 Studio Ghibli film, Ponyo. Of course, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. Now, this is actually a very interesting film in Studio Ghibli's history, and this is one of the main reasons why I still incorporate Studio Ghibli with Disney Studios, because around this time, this is just a few years after the major 2002 Oscar win of Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away for Best Animated Feature Film, and it was because of John Lasseter and Disney that this movie actually made it to the United States and got into a decent amount of theaters for people to see. So, this movie would not make its way to the United States until about 2009, but this was actually the very first time in which Disney and Studio Ghibli closely collaborated in regards to marketing, production, and getting this movie out to the public all around the world. And it definitely seems to be a film that many people do enjoy, but we'll get to my thoughts in just a bit. So, Ponyo is the story of a curious goldfish named Brunhilde, who is being kept safe by her father, who is a major oceanographer scientist, it seems like, but there is a lot more to him as this story progresses. And being the curious fish that she is, she decides to break free and go up onto the surface, where she will eventually meet a little boy named Sasuke, and due to their meeting, it would be a very crucial thing in regards to the environment and the planet and everything else that is involved that makes the world spin. So this is also no surprise that Disney was very much involved in this. This is based on the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, The Little Mermaid, and of course we all know the success that The Little Mermaid had for the wonderful world of Disney. So, this movie, Ponyo, is definitely a fan favorite amongst many, and for me, I'm not going to say I don't like it, but I'm not going to say that I love it either. It definitely is somewhere right in the middle for me. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie, especially when it comes to the visuals. There are some out-of-this-world images that you will see in this film, just knowing that when Ponyo, now, of course, being named Ponyo by Sasuke, because, again, I said her name was Brunhilde, that was her real name, but when Sasuke finds this little goldfish and just puts it in a bucket and takes care of her, he decides to officially call her Ponyo, and Ponyo decides to take that name for herself and start to constantly try to change into a human as she continues to develop her relationship with Sasuke. So, seeing imagery like the water and seeing that it really is a living entity is definitely a sight to behold. There's definitely some really cute characters. I mean, Sasuke and Ponyo are very, very cute, but I don't think that Ponyo is one of the strongest child characters that Hayao Miyazaki has given us. I mean, I will always say that my personal favorite is most likely Kiki. I love Kiki and Kiki's delivery service, but it still is fun to watch, and watch Ponyo's curiosity and how Sasuke keeps introducing her to lots of different things. Also, along with children, Hayao Miyazaki definitely seems to have a soft spot for elderly folks as well, and there are these three old ladies in the nursing home where Sasuke's mother works, and in the English cast, which is also really wonderful. I mean, we've got Liam Neeson, Tina Fey, Matt Damon, but the ladies who are played by Cloris Leachman, Betty White, and Lily Tomlin are an absolute hoot. Whenever they're on screen, I always enjoy watching them because they're just fun characters. And there's a lot of other plot points in this movie that aren't necessarily really touched upon, especially when it comes to the relationship between Sasuke's parents. Sasuke's dad is someone who is constantly out on the water on his boat, and he doesn't really seem to have a good relationship with Sasuke's mom. And we really don't get an understanding as to why their relationship is so much on the rocks. I mean, the only thing that we get is she's upset that he's constantly out at sea and that he is never home. But we don't get more than that, and I really think that that's one of the weaker points, and I think that's probably one of the parts about this film that I don't like. There's a lot of plot points in this movie. Some are very much nurtured, and some are just left to the imagination. For this movie, I just don't think it works. I mean, it's also a relatively long movie. I think it's a little over 2 hours, but the fact that we don't really get... I think it's just under 2 hours, but we don't really get more than I thought that we were going to get, even though there are some really great parts that we do get. The relationship between Ponyo and Sasuke, the relationship between Ponyo and her father, the relationship between her father and her mother, who happens to be a goddess of some kind. I think she's Mother Nature, but also some of the messaging that they bring in there, that it's not just about the relationship of Ponyo and Sasuke that is going to be what keeps the world in balance. There's also a couple of nods to taking care of the environment, which we definitely see at the beginning of the movie. But like I said, it's still got some highlights, and it's got some beautiful animation, and I can definitely understand why lots of people love it. But for me, I'm not necessarily loving or hating. I'm literally smack in the middle. I mean, I own this movie. I hadn't watched this movie in quite some time, so this was, I think, my third time watching it. But one way or another Studio Ghibli film in the books over here at Out of the Vault. I am going to give Ponyo 2.5 stars out of 4. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment in the box below and let's discuss Ponyo, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.